Greetings. My name is Michael Miller, and this is a Michael Miller Pilates YouTube live broadcast. And that's different because usually I broadcast on Facebook under Michael Miller. So that's where you would find previous broadcasts of mine on an almost business day, daily basis going back over a year. Mostly each broadcast is a summary of the notes I take before and during my workout, intermediate reformer workout. The list is at hermit.com for that, if you don't have that. And I just finished a broadcast in Facebook Live comparing the difference between Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and how if Live is the issue, which one is easier to broadcast in. And I'm not sure. I did pretty well at using the app that I use, Big V Stream. An app that goes directly live from my camera to my YouTube channel, and I don't see it up on my channel, but maybe it will be there later, or it's in a different window. When you go live in YouTube Live, as I recall, the notes that I usually take and write down and then have in text on Facebook Live before I start broadcasting comes after in going live in YouTube. Because it's an amazing app. The app just goes live through Wi-Fi and live streams to your YouTube channel. So be careful who you give that password out to. That's your YouTube password, right? And if you're new as a viewer, because you're part of the YouTube audience and not part of the Facebook audience, I would give you a brief summary of where we've been over the last few sessions, broadcasts, and it all starts with the fact of the physics that what we know of as the core is factually a grip at the hips. The core is a grip at the hips in our bodies. Our hips, all our musculature has evolved to be able to create a rotational grip at the hips. So the core is the center, was I think the subject of one broadcast. And then as soon as you open the floodgates to that acknowledgement of the fact of the physics in that, it's easy to see that the shoulders are a capacity at counterbalancing the grip at the hips with a grip at the shoulders to create Cornu Tension, which is another subject of one of the broadcasts recently. So the core is a grip, number one. That grip extends to tension between opposite rotating axes. That creates Cornu Tension. That's number two. Previous things. Oh. But coming out from the center, life emerges out from the center. And our effort to survive in a world that we find ourselves in is an oppositional grip at the hips that turns into a collection of grips at the axes of the body that the body has established the ability to create through its ability to rotate. You follow that? So I'm not sure where I am on the broadcast out into YouTube world. I have a green light and I'm still sending frames on my app. So in the belief that I'm still cultivating, accumulating a live broadcast on YouTube, one of the other things, and yet if I hold up the light, it dims everything else. Do you see that? Do you see how, and I think that cut off termination before because there was no video involved in it. But the point between the two rotations where the curve changes direction in the world of math and physics and economics and reality, that's an inflection point where curve changes direction, and you can have the grip itself be like this is a tape measure, right? See, it's a tape measure. And that the grip itself, as you establish that, you create a center. And that's the core. And this is according to michaelmillerpilates, which views the original work of Joseph Pilates as having an ideal expressed within it that you and I and anyone can understand and have a direct relationship to based on that understanding. There's a lot to be said for live broadcast, and I encourage you to experiment with it, but only to the extent that you give consideration to what you say before you say it, and you say everything meaning no harm, right? And all I mean to do is live up to or fulfill the artistic impulse within me to share with you my art. And literally this is my art, this is my trademark, the whole thing. But that piece of art refers to Cornu Tension that is a fact that exists within the body and enables it to move through space. It's part of the biodynamics of the bodies that we're in. And embracing it, and there's a feeling involved in it, so I say. And that feeling is one of feeling alignment, so you feel alignment through the stretch that you make. So here's a rubber band, right? And to make tension, it in some cases takes 2 points. And it's those 2 points in our bodies rotating in opposite directions that makes this tension. Because I'm the only one pointing to it, I get to name it, and it's called Cornu Tension. After Alfred Cornu, the physicist who discovered the Cornu curve that Euler also revealed, and Fresnel put integral 2, right? This physics that runs through our bodies, the way we engage in and move through space, makes a difference in how we experience the load of our body. And that comes back to uniform engagement to get uniform development. And as soon as you blow your mind open and see that if that's really what we're after, uniform engagement to get uniform development, then I think we're all likely to end up knowing that cornu tension from our ears to our metatarsals, hope you can see that. There seems to be such a dark image that's running. And I'm running a sepia, and maybe that's why, if I brightened it up more. So, YouTube Live. Let me end with Michael Miller Pilates is a brand of Pilates. And it's based on what you know, not who you know. And the what you know comes straight from Joe, his definition, his promise, and his sequence. And Michael Miller's Pilates, I attribute the definition of the ideal within that method. So I'm leaving on defining the ideal within Joseph Pilates' method. And it's my personal opinion. It's my point of view. It's one of 10,000 points of views. Hopefully my view empowers you to survive as a Pilates instructor. And when you evaluate, okay, so I'm headed toward giving you the idea. When you evaluate Pilates from anywhere else, knowing the idea empowers you to say, well, that goes along with the idea and that doesn't go along with the idea. That fits in with the idea and that doesn't fit within the idea. It's like a navigational buoy that allows you to navigate relatively what you're being presented with about Pilates and to what extent it resonates with or is discordant to what you know about the ideal within Joe's original work and what you know about using Cornu Tension to get uniform engagement in the pursuit of uniform development. I don't think I screwed up any of those words there, so that's good. So, live. At the end of every one of my broadcasts, mostly, I end with the same litany of things that I usually have written down and within reach, and here they are. Even though here we are doing live, and I'm now reaching out live to anyone in the YouTube world to broadcast my profession to you, the first thing I end with is that live can't live forever. And so I've hopefully reached out to you in the medium that you're willing to engage in, to listen to my profession, and hopefully make something of it that aids you in your efforts to survive as a Pilates instructor. Read between the lines. It's up to you to do that, is, I guess, the statement. If I'm saying to you, read between the lines, it means that it's up for you to interpret things. I'm encouraging you to do that. And then see behind the curtain. Not only do you have to read between the lines, but you also have to see behind the curtain, because everyone is caught in a curtain. There you go, I like that. Is caught in a curtain. Merely by the fact that they choose a stage, and upon that stage, there is a backdrop to it, whatever it is. So it's up to you again to see behind whatever the curtain is, mine included, to empower you to be a better Pilates instructor. And then add 2 and 2. Numbers exist, reality, that the numbers of reality exist. And so knowing how much to charge for your services and recognizing the value of what you know and being willing to charge for that. astronomically so, because you never get more than you ask for. Be sure you ask for more than you could ever hope for. Talk to Christopher Columbus about that in his negotiating skills with Queen Isabella. And all of that falls under add 2 and 2, numbers and value, and using your perception of value to influence your students' perception of value, like we all do anyway. Direct your thinking is second to last. It makes a point of don't daydream, and direct your thinking and apply your mind to where you want to go, because you can do that, because you direct your thinking. And then finally, Geist, which is a German word that typically means spirit, which ties to Joe's use of body, mind, and spirit, which in a good dictionary might mean one's mind's eye. It's that capacity in a human called concentration. And without concentration, without spirit, without the listener, without the observer that quantum physics talks about, without that capacity in the human being present, it's my point of view that's necessary to match and blend with the mind and the body, those three capacities, can be coordinated as a state of being in the body in the moment of the doing. And that's why Geist is so important. It's the spirit in the trinity of capacities that's necessary to get the experience that is supporting the 10,000 expressions of Pilates And the closer you get to the wick of that, to the understanding of that, then as an instructor, it makes you calmer, knowing your target, and more at peace knowing that you can only pour the reservoir of water you have, your understanding, through the funnel of your students' understanding. And that it's all good. As long as the rate of transfer is smooth and pleasing for the student. Right? Geist. And so with that, I end my broadcast, and I'm done in Facebook Live because I've made my notes. I made them ahead of time. I wrote down exactly what I typed into Facebook Live's title for my broadcast, and then I covered those notes in Facebook Live. Now, if this worked, at the end of this, it will end up encapsulating as a file in my YouTube channel, and hopefully announce to my subscribers that there's another video available for viewing. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it works. I have to know how to turn off this live situation. So if you want more YouTube Live and you're not into the Facebook world, write to me privately or make a note on the video and I'll know. Thank you.